Okay, Charles, let's go over this. And I copied Scott and I copied Anthony on it as well. And I wanted to show them the work they're doing so that they keep an eye on this for you too. And first of all, your posture is a lot better. Your weight's distributed much better. Remember to keep the shoulders a little more relaxed. The club right now, a little low maybe. We got about a 45-degree club there. We're going to allow for a little parallax that shows in the video, but always right up to the belt buckle's best. But your posture certainly improved. You're going to keep this toe flared out just a little bit this way, and keep the shoulders slightly closed, and you're going to cock your head a little bit to the right, like a la Jack Nicklaus, because you want to be really aware of this area that's inside here. You're going to get rid of everything that's steep and over the top of the plane. So set up, we got a mildly strong grip. I mean, it's not really strong, but for now, everything that you hit, at least for the next couple of weeks, we want it curving left so that your reaction at the top gets a little bit different. You start to drop everything down a little bit better. But I got this on my stationary camera, and take it step by step here. Actually, set up in first part of the backswing is pretty good, so you're still maintaining a pretty good, it's a fairly late wrist set, but that's fine. You're still maintaining a pretty good plane there. The hands are a little bit deep, but not too bad. There's one line, and I'll show you the way that you can look for this as you go. And when you get that left arm parallel to the ground, as it is right about there, you started with a 39 or 40 degrees, and you've gone up to about 45. So that means that the hands are going around a little bit. The average tour progression here is about 6-7 degrees. It'll be a little bit more mid-body. But as you go up to the top here, now ideally what we'd like to do with your backswing is to flatten the wrist and not do this last part of it at all. So you went from 40 up to about 53. So that's pretty good progression. Most tour players are about 12 degrees. Your hands are a little deep. And if your weight's getting better, it's turned behind the ball a little bit. This is open though, and it's about to get very open. So that's what we've got to keep working on, that a little flatter wrist and club more at the sky, with you a little bit behind it. Watch the weight getting too much to the outside of the right foot. That's why I want the weight on the inside of the right foot. But you're okay. A little bit underplane here. A little bit underplane here. But you're turning it with your shoulders pretty well. So you're still pretty connected. Halfway point there. And top, ideally, right there. I mean, that would be a really good progression right there. And your goal now is to bring it back down to the center line here. So let me draw this a little bit different. Most tour players, that's kind of their hit plane. This is the original shaft plane down here. And there's your turn shoulder plane on the top, but your hitting plane, the plane that you're actually swinging on, is that middle line right there. So we don't want to cross the line. That's where your swing starts to get steep. See, right now with your club pointed out this way, that's going to come down steep. And you're going to come down, and now's when the plane of the swing is going to start to change here. And the club face just went from fairly square or maybe a little open to very open. That's why the shaft that you're playing with has a medium amount of downcock on it, has a medium amount of load on it there. You can see that right there from the pull down. If this were more of a swing down, that shaft would fit you a little better. When you have that much bow in the shaft, there's always going to be some wrinkle at the bottom. But you can see what happened now. It went from I think we were at 45, or the driver's built at about 46 degrees or something like that. So now we're on about 80 degrees. And so this is where we get into the transition area that I was talking about, that we need to get that down flat. And for a model, we're using this guy here. So he's set up here and takes it away halfway, would be right about there. And then the top isn't going to be a lot different for him. You see how much he almost keeps that one plane? His transition from his middle area there is very little, but here's what we're working toward. For your long-term goal for your golf swing would be to learn to feel that shaft come down and have the hands pass by or under that swing plane, I call it, not the shaft plane. You can see the pull down. You've missed the hand plane here. Your hands are swinging down even above the shoulder plane right here. So the face is going, that golf club right now is almost like a greenside bunker level of open from that pull down. So let's go back here. Here's your pull down. Now the face is real open, and the only way you're going to be able to get that square is to flip your hands over through it or hit a high block right. Okay, so you watch Garcia coming down. He's one who gets it all the way back to the shaft plane. But he's a good model for you, because you're not going to get here, but if we could at least get you down to this plane right here, the hitting plane, and not above the shoulder plane, we're going to have a big breakthrough for you. Okay, so there's one look. Now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to show you something else here. When you get up to the top, we're going to put a little tracer on your hand path here. Okay, so we're going to go here, and we're going to put a little tracer on your hand path. Here and there. Okay, now watch the maestro over here. He's up to the top. I'm going to trace his hands, and this is a if you guys have read some of my stuff in my articles, this is what, not just Garcia, he does it his own method, and I like to teach from this because so many people are the other way. But the secret to really good ball striking is to get the shaft of the club, the center point of that golf club, below your hand path. Okay, so there's his hands, right? So I'm getting them here. They went from there to there, out of 70 degrees, and now he's 25 degrees under his hand path. Do you see where your club is? Above your hand path. That is a prescription for disaster in keeping the face under control throughout the round. You have to get whatever it takes. We want to get that feeling of really making some baseball swings. I recommended that you go to the store and get some of those 4-inch tees, like up here, and you'd actually start your takeaway with the club that high. Or if we had, unfortunately we don't have it, but if we get more of the hills in Florida, hit balls like maybe knee high, because what we're trying to do here is change your whole orientation to more of the way you take it back. See, this first part of the golf swing here is done with the body and the hands in conjunction. Yeah, it gets a little under, it gets a little deep, but not so much that you have to lift it. I mean, you do tend to lift it a little bit there. But there's a pretty good turn to your right side. And because of the little cup in the wrist there and the elbow flying a little bit, that's just, that face is slightly open, but I'd like to call that the end of the backswing. This extra stuff that points to the right will almost always pull it down too steeply. So we're going to flatten that wrist out and go to the store and get one of those gloves that has I might even have one over in the Golf Academy, a men's large over at the Rookery Golf Academy, that has that plastic piece that keeps that wrist flat, because that's what we really want to do. keep it flat. But you're going in the right direction. I really like the way you're set up at the golf ball now, Charles. This is so much of a better setup. Your arms are, your arms are hanging down from your shoulders. Your weight is balanced really over the balls of your feet, and you're getting into the habit of your shoulders relaxing. Okay, so a little low with the hands. You can bring them up to that point, the tip of the club through the belt buckle. Okay, now we're going to watch one more thing, and as I was telling you, and I think I mentioned to Anthony, this would be more of a function of what you do with the golf swing than just it's a reaction, not an action in and of itself. Now you can see what's happened is the lower body is going out and the upper body is pulling away. So you can see where the path of that club is. This is earlier in the lesson when we had you probably 6 degrees on your horizontal swing plane with 6 degrees left. So if I get you there at impact, and it looks like this. Address, impact. Address, impact. Okay, so that's kind of what the you'll see from that reaction, and the more we can get the club into transition that I'm talking about right here, the more you're going to be able to stay in the shot. Right now, when they do that steep transition, you could say, well, stay down and stay through the shot and don't lose your posture. Well, none of that's going to happen until we get in. Here's Sergio at address, and there he is at impact. Address, impact. Okay? So that's from reacting, not having to stand up and pull away. See your spine angle? He's got a spine angle there of 50 degrees or so, 75 degrees or so. So you've lost your spine angle. And all those are force factors. You don't have the force on the golf club because we're losing it there. Okay, so the drills that we did, the strong grip drill with the shaft in the ground out in front of you, that's a path drill. The back to the target drill, the feet together drill, the split grip drill where you put your right hand down on the shaft to feel that, and the baseball drill. All things that I've used very few gadgets in my teaching life. Everything that helps people is hills, moguls that you work off of, and simple things that you can feel when you're still on the golf course. Okay, so get away from there. So you got some idea there what's going on, guys. We want to get you up to the top and let that club, instead of come down there, we want to really let it lay down here. We want to get it back down to about there. So you can practice 1,000,000 of those right in your backyard if you want, Charles. Just let that club lay down behind you, because when it comes that far out in front of you, we're really going to have trouble squaring on a consistent basis. And you can see we did this later. And boom, done. We'll call that the backswing. That's what it's going to feel like to you. The face is more up at the sky. Now watch what happens to the face when you get across the line and pull this down. Remember that in that face? There's the cupped wrist, the pull down, and the face wide open. So I wanted to show you, I think this is the one where I had you make a few practice swings, but I filmed that. Yeah, right here. Right there. See how much more naturally your hands release? Look at that club. You turned it right over. And there's your thought. Yeah, don't let your hands swing out as much. Keep them close to the body. You have a real good one here, but that's the feeling that you want with that shaft laying down like that. And then you just can release it from there because it got under your hand path. So here you go here, if we trace this hand path, and you see the club, just like we want it, under the hand path. That's going to be the key to staying in your posture. You'll always be early extension, like humping out at the ball and standing up with the body as long as we're in transition like that. So we've worked on it about 2.5 hours now, and we've got the path. We had vertical swing plane on my flight scope at about 65 degrees on a 6-iron. We entered the 50s today. And we had a horizontal swing direction of about 6 degrees left, and we got it down to 3 today. So those are the keys to getting better. All right, keep practicing, hit a lot of balls, and I want to see you again this week.